Shalom, Hebrews and Shebrews. This is Oilfield Disciple, and we're about to get down on our daily bread. Welcome to those who are new. Thank you for those who are diligently following me. It's early this morning, so I'm not an early morning person. Never have been. Um, but it's the only way I can get these videos out with this current schedule that I'm running is to get this knocked out nice and early this morning. We will be in Genesis 39 because we doubled up yesterday and read 37 and 38. And then we will read our Psalms, our Proverbs, and Mark. So let's get reading. Let me flip the camera around for you. Bereshit 39 verse 1 says, And Joseph had been taken down to Mitzrayim. Okay, now remember yesterday that Joseph had just been sold into slavery. Um, and so Joseph had been taken down to Mitzrayim, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, a Mitzrite. All right, now, if you're new to the channel, I read out of the scriptures. Mitzrayim is Egypt. Mitzrite is Egyptian. Um, so, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, a Mitzrite, bought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him down there. And it came to be that man, wake up, man. It came to be that Yahweh was with Joseph, and he became a prosperous man, and was in the house of his master, the Mitzrite. And his master saw that Yahweh was with him, and that Yahweh made all he did prosper in his hand. So Joseph found favor in his eyes, and served him, and appointed him over his house, and gave him into his hand all that he had. All right. Now this is one of those that today's modern churchianity, religiosity, um, wolves in sheep clothing pastors like to quote for their prosperity gospel nonsense that they preach. And remember, we've talked about the difference in promises and possibilities. So it came to be from the time that he appointed him over his house and all that he had, that Yahweh blessed the Mitzrite's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of Yahweh was on all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left in Joseph's hand all that he had, and he did not know what he had except for the bread which he ate. And Joseph was handsome in form and handsome in appearance. And after these events it came to be that his master's wife lifted up her eyes to Joseph and said, Lie with me. But he refused and said to his master's wife, Look, my master does not know what is with me in the house, and he has given into my hand all that he has. Integrity Joseph has. Integrity Joseph has. Joseph has some integrity here. That's something a lot of us in this culture do not have. The ability to say no when lust is right there in your lap, literally. Verse 9. No one is greater in the house than I, and he has not withheld whatever from me, but you, because you are his wife. And how shall I do this great evil and sin against Elohim? Okay, that's Psalms 51, verse 4. David says, Against you and you only have I sinned, Lord. Although he had taken Bathsheba and basically raped her and sent her husband to the front lines of the war to surely be killed, um, David realizes that, yeah, although he did something to them, it was Elohim, our Lord, in which he committed the sin, and no one else. We cannot sin against one another. We only sin against Elohim. Joseph recognizes this here. And David recognized it in Psalms 51, verse 4. Verse 10, And it came to be, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he did not listen to her, to lie with her, to be with her. This woman is nag, boy. She is all over this young boy like flies on peanut butter. She wants some Joseph. Man, that's hard. I credit Joseph a lot here because this is hard for men to say no. And I'm sure Pharaoh's wife was not some ugly fat chick, this gnarly, warded up, buck tooth, fangly looking female. No, she was being Pharaoh's wife was probably quite attractive to the eyes. Um, she wasn't no old hag. So Joseph had definitely, it required a lot of restraint on Joseph that he would continue to look towards the Lord and deny himself and deny the lust. It's like we read yesterday in Mark. Um, Pick up your stake or your cross, deny yourself, and follow me. That's the point in the maturity of our spirituality that we need to get to, man. Even women. I don't think women struggle with this part of sin as much as men do on the whole, um, although some more, some less. But when I read this account, I got to applaud Joseph because at this age, we're looking at Joseph being 16, 17 years old here. Um, yeah, I didn't have that restraint at 16 years old, but then again, I didn't even know who Jesus was at 16 years old either. So it came to be on a certain day when Joseph went into the house to do his work, and none of the men of the house was inside. If I don't just read this, we're going to be here all day. That she caught him by his garment, saying, "Lie with me." But he left his garment in her hand and fled and ran outside. It came to be, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and fled outside, that she called to the men of her house and spoke to them, saying, "See, he has brought in to us a Hebrew to mock us. He came in to lie with me, and I cried out with a loud voice." Okay, you hussy. It came to be, when he heard that I lifted my voice and cried out, that he left his garment with me and fled and went outside. And she kept his garment with her until his master came home. And she spoke to him these same words, saying, "The Hebrew servant whom you brought to us came to me to mock me." And so it came to be, as I lifted my voice and cried out, that he left his garment with me and fled outside. It came to be, when his master heard the words which his wife spoke to him, saying, "Your servant did to me according to these words," that his displeasure burned. Then Joseph's master took him and put him into prison, a place where the king's prisoners were confined, and he was there in the prison. But Yahweh was with Joseph and extended loving commitment to him, and he gave him favor in the eyes of the prison warden, and the prison warden gave into the hand Joseph all the prisoners who were in the prison, and whatever was done there was his doing. The prison warden did not look into any point that was under Joseph's hand, because Yahweh was with him, and whatever he did, Yahweh made it prosper. See, Yahweh can lead our way. Um, no, we're going to come to find out that Joseph spends 12 years in this prison for this. Um, when in all actuality, what he was accused of to doing to Potiphar's wife could have cost him his life, literally right there on the spot. Um, but Yahweh being with him is prospering him. Even when we think that we're destitute, that the world's all the way against us, everything is going to hell in a handbasket, basically, we tend to mock God and say, "Look what Satan's doing to me." No, this is for Joseph's own good, for one. And two, it will come into play that Yahweh has his full hand in it. The devil ain't playing no part here. This is all God. We tend to go the other way. God's forgot me. God left me. Look what the enemy is doing to me. You know, I often say that, what are you doing for the kingdom that would make Satan, who is neither omnipresent, omniscient, or any of the above, what would cause him to come and even look at you, to even waste his time with you? What are you doing for the kingdom? You know, um, First of all, well, since I've already got the Proverbs, let's go ahead and do Proverbs 7. And then we'll flip back to Psalms. My son, guard my words and treasure up my commands with you. Guard my commands and live, and my Torah as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding a close friend, to guard you against the strange woman, again, false church, against the foreigner who flatters with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my lattice, and I saw among the simple, I perceived among the youths, a young man lacking heart, passing through the street near her corner. And he went the way to her house, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and the dark night. And look, a woman met him, dressed like a whore, with a hidden heart. This woman dressed like a whore, that's today's modern churchianity. It's the false church system that's been around since the beginning. She was boisterous and stubborn. Her feet did not stay at her own house. Now in the street, now in the square, and at every corner she lurks. And she took hold of him and kissed him. And she hardened her face and said to him, slaughterings of peace offerings are with me. Today I have paid my vows. Therefore I came out to meet you, to earnestly seek your face, and I found you. I have spread my bed with coverings, colored linens of Mitzrayim. I have sprinkled my bed with myrrh, aloe, and cinnamon. That's a counterfeit. Come, let us take our fill of carnal love until morning. Let us delight ourselves with love. For my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He took a bag of silver with him. He comes home on the day of the covering. That is the Day of Atonement. With many words she leads him astray. With her smooth lips she seduces him. He goes after her immediately. Like an ox he goes to the slaughter, and as in chains a fool to the punishment. Till an arrow strikes through his liver, like a bird rushing to a snare, and did not know it would take his life. And now, listen to me, you children. Pay attention to the words of my mouth, and do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not go astray in her paths. For many are the wounded she has caused to fall, and numerous all her killed ones. Her house is the way to Sheol, going down to the rooms of death. Okay, now back to Psalms. I think we're in 40, 39 or 40. We read both. We read the same psalm yesterday and the day before. I'm looking here to make sure we're right. Yeah. We will be in Telahim or Psalms 40. I waited for Yahweh, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. And he drew me out of the pit of destruction, out of the muddy clay, and he set my feet upon a rock. He is establishing my steps. Then he put a new song in my mouth. Praise to our Elohim. Do not see it and fear, and trust in Yahweh. Blessed is the man who has made Yahweh his trust, and has not turned to the proud, and those turning aside to falsehood. O Yahweh, my Elohim, many are the wonders which you have done, and your purposes towards us. There is no one to compare with you. That is holy, y'all. When y'all hear holy, holy, holy is the Lord, there is no one to compare to you. I declare and speak. They are too many to be numbered. Slaughtering and a meal offering you do not desire. You have opened my ears. A sinning offering and sin offering you did not ask for. Then I said, see, I have come. In the scroll of the book it is prescribed for me. Can't remember the verse it says, but it's better to be obedient than to give offerings. Verse 8. And I have delighted to do your pleasure, O my Elohim, and your Torah is within my heart. I have proclaimed the good news of the righteousness in the great assembly. See, I do not restrain my lips. O Yahweh, you know. I did not conceal your righteousness within my heart. I have declared your trustworthiness and your deliverance. Go into all the world and preach the gospel, y'all. I did not hide your loving commitment or your truth from the great assembly. Do not withhold your compassion from me, O Yahweh. Let your loving commitment and your truth always watch over me. For evils without number have surrounded me. My crookedness have overtaken me, and I have been unable to see. They became more than the hairs of my head, and my heart has failed me. Be pleased, O Yahweh, to deliver me. O Yahweh, hasten to help me. Let those who seek to destroy my life be ashamed and abashed together. Be ashamed and abashed altogether. Let those who are desiring my evil be driven back and put to shame. Let those who say to me, Aha, aha, be appalled at their own shame. Let all those who seek you rejoice and be glad in you. Let those who love your deliverance always say, Yahweh, be exalted. But I am poor and needy. Let Yahweh think upon me. You are my help, my deliverer. All my Elohim, do not delay. We see the recurring theme from David in these Psalms that it's always, regardless of his current situation, he is always giving everything he has the glory to Yahweh. That's the place we need to be at, no matter what's going on around us, that we give our alms to Yah. Okay. We will be in Marcos chapter 9. Mark chapter 9, verse 1 says, And he said to them, Truly I say to you, that there are some standing here who shall not taste of death at all until they see the reign of Elohim having come in power. And after 6 days, Yeshua took Kepha and Jacob and Johanan, that's James, Peter, and John, and led them up on a high mountain alone by themselves, and he was transformed before them. His garments became glittering, exceedingly white, like snow, such as no launder on the earth is able to whiten. And there appeared to them Eliyahu and Moshe, that's Elijah and Moses. And they were talking with Yeshua, and Kepha, responding, said to Yeshua, Rabbi, it is good for us to be here, and let us make 3 booths, one for you, one for Moshe, and one for Eliyahu, because he did not know what to say, for they were exceedingly afraid. Yeah, what would you say? I mean, you're standing there with Jesus, and boom, here comes Moses and Elijah just out of nowhere. And there came a cloud overshadowing them, and a voice came from the cloud, saying, This is my son, the beloved. Hear him. And suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone with them, but only Yeshua. And as they were coming down from the mountain, he ordered them not to relate to anyone what they saw till the son of Adam had risen from the dead. And they kept this matter to themselves, debating what the rising from the dead meant. And they asked him, saying, Why do the scribes say that Eliyahu has to come first? He said to them, Eliyahu indeed, having come first, restores all matters. And how has it been written concerning the son of Adam, that he is to suffer much and be despised? Now, I haven't studied this out really. Maybe some of you have, but it really, I don't know. It kind of goes against my grain whenever I hear people say that John the Baptist is Elijah, because that would reference reincarnation, and I don't see it. It's appointed once unto man to die, and then the judgment. Um, like I said, I haven't studied this out. Maybe some of you have. Uh, but it definitely would be worthy to go and do some diligent research here, because um, I just can't see John the Baptist being reincarnated from Elijah. That just goes against everything that God teaches. But read the scriptures, Matt. But I say to you that even Eliyahu has come, and they did not. And they did to him whatever they wished, as it has been written of him. And coming to the taught ones, he saw a large crowd around them, and scribes disputing with them. And immediately, when the crowd saw him, they were greatly astonished, and running near, greeted him. And he asked the scribes, "What are you disputing with them?" And one of the crowd answered, said, "Teacher, I brought you my son, who has a dumb spirit. And wherever he seizes him, he throws him down, and he foams at the mouth, and gnashes his teeth, and he wastes away. And I spoke to your taught ones, that they should cast him out, but they were not able." He answered them and said, "O unbelieving generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring him to me." So they brought him to him, and when he saw him, immediately the spirit threw him into convulsions, and falling on the ground, he rolled about, foaming at the mouth. And he asked his father, "How long has he been like this?" He said, "From childhood. And often he has thrown him both into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if it is at all possible for you, have compassion on us and help us." Yeshua said to him, "If you are able to believe, all is possible to him who believes." And immediately the father of the child cried out and said with tears, "I believe, Master, help my unbelief." It's key. I believe, but help my unbelief. We all believe, but we have a certain degree of disbelief at the same time. Skepticism. I know God said, but, really, is it a promise or a possibility? Verse 25, and when Yeshua saw that a crowd came running together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to him, "You deaf, dumb spirit, I order you, come out of him, and never again enter to him." And crying out and convulsing him much, it came out of him, and he became as one dead, so that many said that he was dead. But Yeshua, taking him by the hand, lifted him up, and he arose. And when he came into his house, his taught ones asked him separately, "Why were we unable to cast him out?" Now this is key what Jesus fixes to say next. Jesus said to them, "It is impossible for this kind to come out except through prayer and fasting." We must pray and fast for certain situations. We must. It's imperative. Verse 30, and going from there they passed through Galilee, and he did not wish anyone to know. For he was teaching his taught ones, and said to them, "The Son of Adam is being delivered into the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and having been killed, he shall rise the third day." But they did not understand the word, and they were afraid to ask him. And they came to Capernaum, or Capernaum. And being in the house, he asked them, "What was it you disputed among yourselves on the way?" And they were silent, for on the way they had disputed with one another who was the greatest. And sitting down, he called the 12, and said to them, "If anyone wishes to be first, he shall be last of all, and servant of all." And he took a little child, and set him in their midst, and taking him in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever receives one of such little children in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but the one who sent me." And Johanan said to him, "Teacher, we saw someone who does not follow us, casting out demons in your name, and we forbade him, because he does not follow us." And Yeshua said, "Do not forbade him, for no one who works a miracle in my name is able to readily speak evil of me. For he who is not against us is for us. For whoever gives you a cup of water to drink in my name, because you are of Messiah, truly I say to you, he shall by no means lose his reward. And whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it is better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck, and he were thrown into the sea. And if your hand makes you stumble, cut it off. It is better for you to enter into life crippled than having two hands to go into Gehenna, into the unquenchable fire, where their worm does not die and the fire not quenched. And if your foot make you stumble, cut it off. It is better for you to enter into life crippled than having 2 feet to be thrown into Gehenna, into the unquenchable fire, where their worm does not die and the fire not quenched. If your eye makes you stumble, pluck it out. It is better for you to enter into the reign of Elohim with one eye than having 2 eyes to be thrown into the fire of Gehenna, where their worm does not die and fire not quenched. For everyone shall be seasoned with fire, and every offering shall be seasoned with salt. Salt is good, but if salt becomes tasteless, how shall you season it? Have salt in yourselves, and be at peace among one another. So many studies here, y'all. Let's go back up to verse 40 for a second. Is it 40? Yeah. For he who is not against us is for us. For whoever gives a cup of water to drink in my name, because you are Messiah, because you are of Messiah, I say to you, you shall by no means lose your reward. Okay, well, how does that coincide, or would that be a contradictory to Matthew 7:23? Actually, 20 through 23, where Jesus says, "Those who will cast out demons in my name, he'll say, I do not know them." Well, because there's the name of Yeshua, and in that name, there has to be belief. There has to be full trust. Um, no ulterior motives. If I'm casting out demons, supposedly, um, as per the show on TBN, I'm doing it for money. I'm doing it for my own gain. Just like when you read in Acts of Simon, not Simon Peter, but Simon. I can't remember. Um, it's called Simon, but Simon wanted to buy the Holy Spirit so he could profit from those works. If we're looking to profit from the works of Yeshua, we really don't have Yeshua, and we're really not calling on his name. We're calling on a name, but we're not calling on his name. And there's a big difference there. Um, and so I urge you to deeply study some of the things that we read today. There's a lot in what we read today that we could simply just pass over and graze over and just cruise on. But anyway, with that said, I pray this message blessed you, encouraged you, and even frustrated you. Go look this up for yourself, y'all. Take no man's word for anything. When you see it in black and white, and you begin studying it, of the words, and praying on it, fasting on it, um, the Holy Spirit will begin to reveal truths to you that you never thought possible. So, thank y'all for sticking with me, those who do, and welcome to those who are new. Go check out some of my videos in the archives. I've got lots of teaching videos. Um, if you like the content, subscribe to the channel, like and share this video. Y'all have a blessed day. In the mighty name of Yeshua. This is Oilfield Disciple, and I will catch you in the next ride.